I got a little side project I got to do on the Snojet. The belt is way too tight. So if you go back to the video where we were test running it, you might hear a little squeaking from the tight belt. Maybe I'll throw a clip up here. So anyways, this thing is not going to be a picnic. So let me show you what we got going on. So under the hood, as you saw during the Snojet build, we have our secondary clutch. This sled actually calls for a 1 3/16 belt, and this is 1.25 inches. So some adjustments have to be made. Basically, I need to shim it open so that that'll sit down more. And if I remember right, I think this whole deal is basically part of the upper chain case. So basically, I think I'm going to blow the chain case apart and get that secondary off of there and try to deal with it then. Let's see how it works out. So step one is to get the belt off, and it's probably not going to be very easy to do with the belt that tight. I'll be back. I got a trick. All right, here's my trick. I'm holding the brake, and then you can see I can use the screwdriver and pry the thing open. And I don't mean necessarily prying the sheaths open. I mean, I'm opening up the helix, he tries to say as he's doing it. So there you go. So you can see the helix is wide open. Now, if I pull up on the belt, there we go. So, success. So we'll just get that belt back out of the way. I think I'm going to have to take off this whole secondary shaft, which unfortunately means I'm going to have to take the brake caliper here off. So, guess I'll get at that next. Great. Potential change of plans. I'm going to see if I can knock this roll pin out. It's going to have to come out anyways. Oh boy. Yeah, no change of plans. Back to taking the brakes apart. Blowing this whole stupid thing apart. So I got it blown apart. The secondary lives on this little housing over here. That was great. Somehow the ends of these splines got chewed up, so I had to kind of drive the old gear here off. I think everything's fine. Nothing got damaged, so that'll be fine. So let's get this off and get this apart. Yeah, it's coming along. So, yep. How do you like that? Nice, little contained. Now we're set. So you can see this inner sheath is actually welded on, and we are indeed going to have to knock this roll pin out in order to blow it apart and shim it. Shouldn't take too much of a shim. Well, let's get after it. All right, well, roll pin came right out with your basic hammer and punch. Glad I didn't do that on the sled. So now, just see if I can blow this secondary apart. Probably a good idea to clean it and grease it anyways. So a couple things I noticed here. One, look at that. It says Snojet right there. So this is a proprietary part, not a Salisbury or anything. And the second is, it's the helix is keyed on. So we're not going to be able to twist it. That helix basically has to come straight out. So we're going to try some heat first and maybe some gentle tapping. It's not real heavy. I don't want to beat on it real hard. but I think that's where we're going first. All right, so this is warm. The helix is toasty, and I got my janky little $10 or less Harbor Freight puller set up. And you'll notice I'm pulling right next to the towers of the helix. And look at that. All right, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. All right, this needs to get put aside to cool off. That's still toasty. But it worked. Ooh, top of the spring's a little warm. Got to pull out this keyway. The keyway would be in the shaft, but the key is what we're going to pull out. So I'll be right back. Oh yeah, the tap's what it wanted. All right. I don't want to mar that shaft, but we will grip it just a little. All right. All right, I took a quick caliper, and it's actually 7/8, not 1 inch. Doesn't matter. I have a machinery bushing assortment, and boy, are these things ever handy. Where's the latch end? So you can see it comes with all these specific size and thickness washers. Exactly what a guy needs for this. So not that one. Maybe. Oh yeah. So there's a 7/8 10 gauge. Let's see what that does. Well, that opens up maybe too much of a gap. Let me take you out and stand there and give you a view. So you can see that's a good sized gap. I'm gonna back that down to a thinner shim. Yep, I'm gonna say that's good. Now, let me pull it off and look at it on the horizontal. No, that is a little light. Maybe I'm gonna go back to the 10 gauge. All right, I'm back at that 10 gauge. That's where we're going. So I guess it's time to lubricate things and put this back together. All right, so I got this goo that I've had forever that said, a long time ago, said metallic clutch lube, and it had a picture of a snowmobile on it. So there you go. My buddy Greg has a similar looking tube from Skidoo. Can you get it anymore? I don't know. But I do know it's good and sticky. It isn't going to migrate out. and it seems to work for a good long time. So we just need a little bit of lube on that bronze bushing in there. All right, and I usually like to just touch the ramps a little bit with it. It just helps with the back shifting. And obviously back on that side, you're not going to get it in your belt. There's no way. All right, next piece. The next piece is the spring. And then we got the somewhat warm still helix. Oh yeah, and the keyway. Let's not forget the keyway. All right, the keyway's been deburred. Where is my little tapping hammer? There we go. Okay, next is the spring. Now the helix. Need a soft hammer to tap on that helix. Wind it one tower. There we go. Ready to put the roll pin back in. It's even lined up. All right, there we go. All I got to do now is put the rest of the sled back together. But I think that'll take care of my belt tension issue when I do. I'll bring you back. We'll check it. Almost forgot. I had to tap this off. So got a little bit of cleanup to do on these splines. All right, had to touch it a little with the grinder. Blew it all off with the air hose. Looks like that'll work. Well, before I got too carried away with assembly, I decided to stop and test fit the belt. And I'm happy with it. Seems just fine. Look at that. Doesn't drag on the clutch. And clutch doesn't drag on it much. I mean, you can't really turn it over. There we go. Turn over a little bit against the compression. But yeah, she's just peachy. And that is a brand new 1084 belt, which, as I mentioned, is 1 1/4 inches wide. And this sled originally called for 1 3/16. So that explains why I had to shim it. But the Duster is also set up for 1 1/4 inches wide. So everything should be happy now. And being a brand new belt, that should be the widest it ever sees. So I think that'll be good. I'll bring you back when I get it all together. Maybe we'll even make a little test pass with it. So I'm still working on this Snojet. Got a couple things left to do before the boys come over, and I've only got a few hours before they come over, and we're going to rip up the yard with some sleds. That'll be a different video. So 11 tooth top on here, and look what I found on eBay. It's 13 tooth. That'll get us a couple miles an hour at least, and probably about 4. Yep, it's gearing it up a bit, but oh well. So once I get this on, this chain's going to be too short. So I got a new chain. I got a couple links. I'm going to have to shorten this chain. I hate master links, so I'm going to try to figure some other way of doing this. Maybe I'll tack weld the master links together or something. But that's next. Let me get after this sprocket and chain. I'll show you how it comes out. thought I'd give you a quick look at those sprockets without the chain wrapped around. So you can see, obviously, this one's a lot bigger, and we'll get more miles per hour out of that thing. All right, did a little test fit here, the bigger gear, and master link and a half link on there, and plenty of room to keep going on the tensioner. But real nice. Real nice. I think we'll go with that. So I really don't want that master link coming apart, so I took what I consider to be the ultimate precaution. Yeah, I tack welded it. It's not coming apart. I'm not worried about this cotter pin. That'll be fine, but I've had these spring clip type master links come apart on me so many times in the past. I just get the length set right, tack weld it, make it permanent. Here she is back together. Got some blue Loctite on that big nut, tack welds, cotter pin, tension. Good enough. Seal her up, put the brakes on, and probably ready for Dennis to ride. One more thing to show you before I button up this chain case. So this drive shaft was wide open all the way to the other side originally, and I kind of suspect it's because they were not running sealed bearings. They had open bearings with seals, and maybe they thought they'd get some chain case lube over to the other side. Well, I don't want that. I'm running sealed bearings now, and I don't want all my chain case lube to escape out that. So sprayed it out with brake cleaner, dried it out, filled it full of super black RTV. So that should keep the chain case lube where I need it. Well, I got the Snojet all buttoned up. Chain case is together, brakes are together. I don't know, probably just a short, quick little video on this thing. I want to say thanks for watching, and I want to say huge thanks to all the patrons. Patrons really keep us going, as does anybody that gives us super thanks, like Jeff Lewis, who is also a patron. If you want to learn about the patron, click down below. There's a link to Patreon. But for a small donation each month, you support the channel. You help us out a lot, keep us going. And you also get early access to all the videos and ad-free on Patreon on the app or the webpage. So we really appreciate the help from the patrons. Everybody else, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the trails.